Today we're going to be exploring how to get qualified as a barrister from the standpoint of a foreign qualified lawyer. So in my first video, I said I decided to take the barrister qualification route as a foreign qualified lawyer, and so I'm going to be talking about my experience and my journey so far and where I am right now in my own journey. So before I start talking about like the process on how to become a qualified barrister as a foreign qualified lawyer, I think we would need to understand it from the basis of someone who studied here in England and Wales, or who studied their law degree, or has done like the conversion course from whatever degree to law. From that point, let's start from that point first so that it makes sense. So as a law student here in England and Wales, you would first of all complete your law degree, and then, or if you had a previous degree, let's say in accounting, you would have to do like a conversion course, and then after you complete that, you would have to do the BPTC, the bar training course, bar practicing training course. And then after you've done that, while doing your bar training course, you have to enroll in an inn of court. There are 4 inns of court in England and Wales, and those are the people that will call you to bar basically. And then you have to do like some qualifying sessions, and then once you've passed so you can do it hand in hand while you're studying for your bar training course. So once you've done that, and once you've passed your bar training course, you've taken all your exams, and you've also completed your qualifying sessions, you can then apply to the inn of court to be called to the bar in England and Wales. Once you're called to the bar, you can then go ahead to do pupillage, and pupillage always ranges is always for like 12 months, 1 year. And then you can now, after completing that, you can now start practicing as a self-employed barrister. Even if you've passed the bar training course and you've been called to the bar, until you've completed your pupillage, you cannot be a self-employed barrister. You would be titled as an unregistered barrister until you've completed your pupillage. So even if you've passed your bar training course and you've not been able to get pupillage for, let's say, 2 years or 3 years, you can't say, or you can't use the title registered barrister. Your title, or the title that you'll be entitled to use, is going to be the unregistered barrister. So yeah, that was just a brief introduction on the process of becoming a barrister in England and Wales. So yes, from the perspective of a foreign qualified lawyer, now you can apply for exemption to some parts of the exam, or from some parts of the exams that you would normally have written if you weren't qualified. So you'd apply to the Bar Standard Board. Click the link that I've provided in the description box. So I've provided their website there, so go on their website and read everything that you have to read, and you would find out more information on the process and everything there. So make sure you go through that page. It's the Bar Standard Board, and that's the body that regulates barristers in England and Wales. So you would apply to the Bar Standard Board for exemption, and like it says on their page, as you can see on my screen, it takes about 16 weeks. But yeah, from my own experience, when I applied, it took almost a year to get a decision from them. And yeah, so it can be more than the 16 weeks as stated on their page. So that's as a result of the volume of applications they have, not necessarily because they just want to have your application sitting down on their desk. No, it's because of the volume of application that they have. So you would apply to the Bar Standard Board for exemption, but before doing that, you would have to create an account on the bar portal. So you click on my page, you can see on my screen there, click the bar, create an account on the bar portal, and then after you've done that, you receive like a reference number. After receiving your reference number, just note it down, and then go ahead to apply and choose start new application, and then go ahead to start your application. So the application form, for you to get like the application form, you need to have created your account and all sorts. Now let's jump right into the application. The application contains quite a number of information that you need to or a number of evidence. So the easiest, let's start from the easiest point. You'd have to provide letter of good standing, your CV, an updated CV, and your practicing certificate that evidences that you've been called to the bar basically, and yeah, your transcripts from university, and your transcripts from law school, from whatever law school, and then you have to submit it while preparing your application. So those documents you need to have it hand in hand. If you're lucky and your branch for example, my own branch was very very willing and they were very quick. If you're lucky, you're going to get your letter of good standing very quickly, and that wouldn't like delay your application. So because I say that because the letter of good standing has to be within 3 months from the application. So if you're applying in April, you can't submit a letter of good standing that was issued to you from January. So yeah, you have to take that into account while applying. So get all your documents ready. Make sure your CV is updated and reflects like your job right now and what you're doing. And then let's now talk about the professional statement which you are going to use for your application. So now let's talk about the professional statements which you're going to use while drafting your application. So you've created your account, you're on the bar portals page, and you've received your CRM number, and now you have access to the application form. So now you can really start your application and drafting your application. So while drafting your application, make sure you make use of the professional statement, which you can see on my page on the screen there, and it has provided you with the 4 characteristics that you would need to evidence within your application. So the first part is the barrister's distinctive characteristics, which covers your legal knowledge, practical knowledge, advocacy and professional skills, and then second part which covers your personal values and standard, and third part which covers your ability to work with others, and then the fourth part which covers your management of your practice. So you're going to have to evidence those four categories in your application. So before we continue talking about the professional statement, your application is going to be assessed on your academic component, and then secondly the vocational component, and then thirdly the work-based component or pupillage. So let's take legal knowledge, skills and attributes, and 1.1 for example, B in particular, which says ensure their conduct consistently justifies their clients and colleagues' trust in them and the public trust in the profession. So you can use the rules of professional conduct in your jurisdiction and compare it to the bar standards code of conduct, and then give an example, a good example of when you've done that and how you apply that in your practice on a regular basis, like every day in your practice. It's not something that you just do one off. It has to be something that you do every day in your practice. So make sure you give a very good example on how you do it on a regular basis and what you've done and how it has helped you in your practice. And then let's take 1.2a for example, sub A, which says be able to recall and comprehend and accurately apply to factual situations the principles of law and rules of procedure and practice specified by the bar standard board. So now again, you want to compare the rules of professional conduct in your jurisdiction and this, and then you want to give very very good example of this. I mean, on a regular basis when you show up in court, you have to apply the rules and procedure to your client's case. So give very very good examples on how when you've done so, the outcome of it and everything. So give good details, but ensuring that you keep confidential information out of it while giving your examples. Let's move on to advocacy. So for advocacy, you need to show that you can draft court and other legal documents which are clear, concise, accurate, and written so as to reflect fairly the argument advanced. So this is your bread and butter as a barrister. You need to show this in your application. So give good examples on how you've done so, You can give an example of an application that you've drafted, and make sure you anonymize the information there. Don't just submit an application. But give examples. You can give an example of like a drafted work you've done, like your drafted argument. Make sure you anonymize client's information. Do not provide it in your application. And yeah, so give everything I've just said. Make sure you just give good examples, and this applies to every criteria in the professional statement. So you need to provide good examples on on each and every paragraph as much as you can. It's quite a lot because this document is about 36 pages if I'm not wrong. So you have to really take your time and write your application, give good examples, make sure you're not shortchanging yourself or not selling yourself right in your application. So write well, give good examples, and make sure you provide good evidence on each criteria in your application. The other thing that can help you in your application is your ability to show that you are trying to get yourself in the system. That's in England and Wales. You're trying to get yourself ingrained with the system. You're going to court to see how the process is. The reason why I said this, for example, the practice or advocacy might be practiced differently in your jurisdiction. So if you're able to show in your application that you've probably attended court just to observe like court procedures and to see like the differences and how you can get yourself in the system, then that will also help your application. So you can do that. Get yourself involved if you can. Visit some courts and just sit there and like, make notes on things that you've observed and compare like the jurisdiction and write it in your application. It's going to help you. I think it would help your application. So yeah, that's everything about application. But if you want to talk about my experience, so yeah, I applied and it took almost a year for me to get a decision. But while doing that, I was already working in legal sector. I'm still working in legal sector. I had a job already, so trying to gather experience and see the difference and notable differences between Nigeria and here. Like for example, the jury system. There's no jury system in Nigeria, but here there is. And so getting myself to attending like court sessions, tribunals has really helped, and I'm still doing that right now just to get myself more ingrained into the system and to get like relevant experience as much as I can. So if you can do that, if you live close to a court, or even if you just take a bus, attend court sessions, and that would really help you. That will help you with noticing the differences and getting yourself settled in the practice. Yeah, and I hope everything I've said today has helped. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section, and then we can talk. You can also ask me questions, and then we can talk about it in my next video if you want. So make sure you like leave multiple questions, leave all your questions, and I'll try as much as possible to answer them. And if I cannot answer them in the comment section, then I'll just make another video answering and responding to all the queries and questions that you guys have. But I hope I hope I've been able to like, provide you like useful information. So don't forget to visit the Bar Standards Board's page, and then download the most important document for you while applying is the professional statement. So make sure you tailor your application with the professional statement, with every single part and aspect of the professional statement. So I wish you good luck, and yay, bye. See you in my next video.